Hello darlings, welcome to my home. I'm Catherine, and today we're going to be doing an intro video, just talking about the things I'd like to do on the channel since it's new. You'll learn a little more about me, and I'm going to be doing a fun makeup look, kind of mermaidy inspired. We'll talk about it later. Let's see where the brush takes us, and let's get started. So I'm starting out with the NYX eyeshadow base. It's this pearly white, the pearlescent white. And I really like using this one when I'm doing like shimmery stuff. I want to use these two babies. These two little babies. They are the Super Shock Shadows, meant for you. It's like Statue of Liberty kind of minty green. And then this one's called Coconut. That's the name of my dog. And it's kind of that like deep peacock. We're gonna use these two. I also wanted to use some of my favorite Lime Crime palettes. I haven't really seen many people use like only Lime Crime. Like, you know, people have their brands that they're loyal to and such. So I have two here that I really like. This one is their birthday palette. It's like a pressed, I don't know if you'd call it glitter. It's like between glitter and a shimmer. But look how fun that one is. So, disclaimer, I'll probably say this in a bunch of other videos, but I don't know if it's OCD. I don't know what it is. You guys can diagnose me in the comments. But I like to keep everything really clean. So I usually have like, I'm not gonna take the stuff off the mirror. I have so many mirrors. They're all like that. Like this one I've used a bunch, but like it doesn't really look like it. I don't know. Maybe I'm not using enough pigment, but I do what I can. So I even keep, you know, that. But it also keeps it really clean and like keeps them from mixing. But I want to use their Twonicorn. You can kind of see I practiced the other day and got a little of the mint to be in there. So I want to use Twonicorn from that and probably Beam from this one. This is the Lime Crime Venus 3. So like they started with the Venus 1, I think. It's just called Venus. They started with this one, and this was my like look how used that is. Like that's really used for me to hit the pan. I don't know what it is, but I have all the Venus palettes and I really like them. So that's gonna be the palettes that we use. I have some. Like I have a bunch of the colors of the Epic Eyewear from NYX, but this one's Turquoise, Storm, and Fierce Purple. Turquoise, Storm. Anyway, we're just gonna be playing around with stuff. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm just showing you what I got out the other day. All right, I'm gonna try not to be right up in here, but my mirror is right there. So I am a creative living out here in Denver. I do everything, all the creative things. I really love to paint, crochet, draw. I have a few art Instagrams. One is for my fine art. I do colored pencil, like produce. My first one was an apple, and I just put some pomegranates out there. My second one is the surreal one. I'll have them all over here somewhere. My second one is a surreal account where I kind of do nostalgic stuff and also surreal stuff. I'll go into those deeper in another video maybe, because it's a huge part of me, obviously. I am currently in school for illustrative design. I have a degree in graphic design. I've been doing, you know, creative stuff, beauty stuff, all of that stuff, since I was a little baby, since I was a kid. I always really loved to draw, and I would always draw like funky ladies. Like I would draw a shape and then put the face and the like outfits on top, and do the same shape but with different variations. Very my brand. But you know, the drawing kind of led into makeup, and my mom would always give me kind of her extra makeup, I think. Or maybe makeup she wasn't wearing. One of the first things I remember getting is those Jane single, they're kind of like these, where it's like a single shadow, and it was the dark like cosmic blue, and then she gave me kind of a sand duney one. But those really got me going, along with like my my Barbie makeup and all that. I think, you know, a lot of the girls who grew up in like the late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of our toys were based off of makeup and fashion and stuff like that. And as you can probably tell from my last few makeup videos, I really love bright colors, and that was definitely a thing back then. So I feel like that really got me, you know, kind of here where I am today. Right after high school, I went into beauty school. I'm a proud beauty school dropout. When I started, I wanted to go in for to be a nail tech, to get my nail tech license. And by the time we graduated, or by the time I was going to graduate, they had like sold the company and a bunch of other stuff happened. You know, I was kind of going through it in my life, in my personal life. And I also got I got my tonsils taken out, and I was out for like 2 weeks. It was only like 10 days. It wasn't even, you know, they don't count the weekends. But I would have had to pay to get back in. So at the time, I was just so over it. I was so over that. Like, it's not for me. It's also a lot of standing, lots of chemicals. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and like hair splinters. And I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't really feeling it at the time. And I wasn't going to be able to get a nail tech license because they didn't teach us enough about nails. So that was a whole thing. So luckily, my maybe a few months later, I was working at Panera, kind of just like, what the heck am I gonna do? And my aunt offered me a job with her doing nails at Amazon. My aunt was working with Amazon. She was a full-time makeup artist, and she was working on a website called My Habit. And you know how Amazon owns Zappos. They also had, I don't know if they still have, but they had a bunch of other websites where they would fulfill for them. And so My Habit was the website that they sold like last year's like runway ready to wear. I just remember Rick Owens coming in and not him himself, but like it was like a Rick Owens dress. It was like a white crackle paint dress, and I was like, whoa, what the heck? But they had models coming in, like flying in from New York and LA to model all the clothes. And they would do, the first thing I did was like a bridal shoot. So I came in and like did the nails. And I was so young. She probably trusted me a little too much. Cause I was just so young. I was like 18 or 19 at this time. So I'm going in with Beam from the Venus 3. So when My Habit kind of folded, you know, I got to do like nails for the front cover of Amazon. You know how they have like the banner at the top. So I got to do fun stuff like that. But when they folded, the producer asked me if I wanted to be like a styling assistant. And so, of course, I did that. I didn't have anything else to do. I wanted to be, you know, I was trying to be a creative. To explain, Amazon has photo studios in the back of a lot of their warehouses. It's basically a room that's built out from the truck bay. So trucks would come in. They took like two or three of those, built it out and put, you know, photo equipment in there and made a photo studio. It was a really interesting place to work because there were people from, you know, all walks. Creative people are very interesting to be around in the first place. So what happens is they take the clothes from said warehouse, and if it doesn't come in with like a vendor image, or if Amazon doesn't like the image that they came in with, what happens is we style it. It's like a board like that, made out of that Pink Panther like insulation stuff, and it had white fabric on it, and you basically pin all the clothes. So, you know, we had like baby clothes, there was all sorts of stuff in that warehouse, and you kind of buff it out to make it look like it's sort of lived in, or there's like somewhat of a shape to it, and take pictures. And so, you know, we were doing quotas of like thousands of pictures a day. So we had assistants who would assist the stylists, and then they would style it. And basically we pinned the clothes on the board and then take it to them and they would style it. It was very interesting. Take a picture and then it gets sent to India, and the pictures are all edited really quickly, and then sent out. And it was just it was a lot. So a few years into that, they asked me to be a stylist, and so I started doing Zappos. It was mostly like barrettes and stuff, so some shoes. I ended up moving to this photo studio in Indianapolis, and you know, they kind of did different stuff. It was like camping gear and whatever. But by the time I moved there, my partner was like getting out of college, and I ended up moving with him. So I kind of stopped doing artistic stuff for a while. But then I decided to go to art school, probably 2018 or so, and for graphic design. Got my degree in that and associates. And then I really tried to do some graphic design jobs. And the first few I got they were all like quality control. They were not graphic design at all. And it was just like, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. I'm going in with Twonicorn now. So I decided to go back to school to get my bachelor's. I decided to go for illustrative design, but a few terms in, I thought, I don't know if I want to do this for a career either. So I decided, once again, to change my mind because I'm a Gemini. I'm Kylie, I'm Gemini. Decided to change kind of career paths, and so now I'm on my way to being an art therapist. I'm going to be doing like a master's in that, hopefully in Boulder in a year or two, you know, depending on how quick I can get through my classes, because it's not a standard school. It's kind of an accelerated school that I'm going to. I'm really excited to do. I have life drawing in the fall, and I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to do like oil paint and stuff that I haven't been able to do. But yeah, anything to get me kind of like on the path that I want to be on, as opposed to, you know, the few years that I wasn't doing something creative, I was doing like random part-time jobs, and it was just not fun. Every time we'd move for my partner's job, you know, I'd have to get another job, and that's always really stressful and makes it really hard to kind of have like any progression in your career. We're going in with the Colourpop Mint to Be. Look how pretty that is. I moved around a lot as a kid, so media was like one of the only constants in my life. So I'm obviously super inspired by like, you know, all the things that were my favorite as a kid. I think a lot of us are. And so I'm definitely inspired by a lot of those things, but I'm also inspired kind of by the fashion right now, fashion and beauty. Obviously Drag Race is a big inspiration for me, just drag in general. You know, I follow a lot of queens who haven't been on Drag Race, never will be. You know, there's all sorts of amazing drag out there, and so I'm super inspired by that. And I've always been inspired by people who kind of do the different. They kind of take their own path in life, and especially in fashion. I just always really loved that. I think makeup is one of those industries that it's very expressive. You know, it can be very inclusive, not all the time, but I think we're getting there. It's always hard to pinpoint like exactly where all of your references come from, because they're all from everywhere all the time, new and old and all that, different lifetimes and such. But the more content I make, I think the more you guys will understand where I come from, because I like to talk about my inspirations and references and stuff. I think it's really important, and that's actually one of the reasons I wanted to make a YouTube channel. All right, here she is, Coconut. I love this color. Yes. Where'd she go? Oh, she's under the desk. Wondering what that furry thing under my foot was. So I really got started like in this kind of makeup, just like experimenting in makeup through high school. I kind of was one of those people who you know, I've always been into like girly stuff, but I'm not super girly. So people make that very apparent when you're younger. So makeup was one of those things that I kind of had a rough time with. People didn't understand the makeup I was doing. I really loved the raccoon eyes, the black eyeliner, and you know, some of it was hiding myself, and some of it was trying to fit in and all that crap. But then I got with my partner, who ended up being my partner for a very, very long time. I got with him when I was about 15, I want to say, sophomore year of high school. And I felt like I could express myself a little bit more. You know, I was already kind of there, because I've always been like this. It's usually just like what I do is like used to be a response to what other people would say. So if I was too much of this, then I would try to stop, and now I don't care. I didn't really care then. Looking back, it's like it was just, you know, assimilate or die kind of feeling. And so I mean, I feel like he helped me be more confident in whatever I'm doing. you know, is kind of one of the first people who made me feel pretty without makeup, kind of thing, as like a young adult. And it felt like authentic and all that, whatever. But that kind of relationship really allows you to be able to explore your like fashion and expression quite a bit more. So I started doing, oh my God, my hair was like, I mean, that started in 2008, and probably by 2010 or 11, my hair was like white. I started doing like circle lenses and trying different stuff with my fashion, hair, makeup, nails, all the things. I had acrylics at all times. I would get up at like 5 a.m. to do all of my makeup. So you can kind of see why I don't do it anymore. So the older I got, though, the harder it got to like make time for beauty and makeup and all that stuff. And I really stopped caring. I couldn't really afford my nails anymore. Upkeep with hair, you know, by the time I stopped doing my hair, I had it was always like fuchsia, like magenta pink, and that just gets everywhere. If you know, you know. And it's just really it wasn't that fun. It was starting to be like more of a problem. And I was also kind of going through a lot in my personal life again. I've had a lot of stuff going on. And my life hasn't been super stable. So it's really hard to do a lot for yourself when your life isn't stable. You are just trying to make ends meet. You're trying to make things stable. You're trying to, you know, kind of ground things. And so going crazy with my hair and makeup just wasn't as viable anymore. And it wasn't as fun and all that. So by the time I got out here, I thought I really want to get back into makeup. I really love makeup. I have all this product that is not being used. And I really miss expressing myself. And so that was a big reason why I wanted to start just doing makeup in general. Ooh, okay, this is that. Is this one Peacock too? No, Turquoise Storm. I'm just doing waterline stuff. But I've had this idea for this channel for like 4 years. It was like before I moved here. I've been here for a couple years now. I was working at Empower Retirement doing quality control. Even though I was hired as a graphic designer, so it was very frustrating, but it was making okay money, and I was just really not happy, and I just felt like I was missing some connection with like-minded people, and really having a hard time. I already have a hard time talking anyway. Like my brain and my mouth, they don't work very well together all the time, so deal with that. But I was just having a hard time kind of like expressing myself and feeling heard in a lot of ways. So I had this idea, you know, it kind of came to me. I would have downtime at my desk, and you kind of just have to sit there, and then we had to eat our lunch there. It was just kind of miserable. I can't believe offices like that still exist. It felt very, very dated, and everything was a judgment. It was just not fun. So I was trying to figure out like, what can I do that kind of encompasses everything that I like, everything I want to do. Sweet cheeks. I'm just gonna go in with some of these and see what it looks like. So my original idea for the channel was to do makeup looks for my favorite musicals. I want to talk about like the behind the scenes, you know, little known facts, but also the pop culture references. So my parents are actually professional musicians, as is my brother. He plays bass, upright and electric and all that good stuff. He's out in Vegas. So he gets to do like the Rat Pack stuff, and I believe he also works for an events company, so that's awesome. So my dad is actually a professional bassoonist in the symphony, but he actually also does like Disney on Ice recordings. He plays with like a rock band, and he also just did the national anthem for a Pacers game. He does a lot of stuff, so it's hard to keep up sometimes. But he'll put like a guitar pedal on his bassoon and play like it, you know, it's a really unique sound. So that's been really fun to watch, you know, and he's done a lot of really amazing things with his career. And my mom is actually a music teacher. She teaches orchestra, and she always did like the utmost. Like, I come from a family of extra people. Everything is extra, both sides. Like, they can fight about it also in the comments. But both sides are very extra in kind of a different way. My dad's side is more, I would say they're performers. My dad's side, because at like the family reunion, we will there's always like someone singing a song or something. My grandpa used to like bust out into song in the middle of restaurants and stuff. So that's that side. And then my mom's family is very extra as far as like, if you want something done, it's going to be done to the nth degree and then to the nth degree, you know, very detailed, very like detail oriented, and doing the most, but not like in a trying to be better kind of way. It's like, that's just how we think. And I totally get that from both of those sides. I'm not as much of a performer. I had a really crazy incident. So I have like really bad stage fright, and maybe I'll talk about that in a video. But my mom would always do the musicals, and she did like all the costumes, everything for it, you know, any concert, it was like all out for the students. And so they both really influenced me in my like musical sense, but also creative sense, because we were always crafting, always doing something. My dad makes soon reads, like he can make anything, you know, he used to build furniture for us and, you know, all of that. And my mom made a bunch of clothes for us as a kid and always made our Halloween costumes. And so I feel very, you know, I'm kind of coming back around to being inspired, like super inspired by my childhood, because it was not very easy. Like I think for a lot of us, we could say that. For me, it didn't feel very easy. We moved around a lot. I always felt weird. I always felt like the weird one. And then when you're the new kid, you're extra weird. So there's a lot of that. So I was around creative people a lot. I'm going to do a black lip because I'm insane, using the Epic eyeliner in pitch black. And we're just having fun, you guys. That's my whole thing. But I kind of like, I'm going to buff out. I don't know why it's kind of, I don't know. I think I got sunburnt, so it's doing weird stuff over here. Okay, we're taking it away. Taking the Cupid's bow away. I always do this so I can see kind of where it's going to transfer anyway. So I want to go above the transfer line, so I'm not worried. But I'm not going out with this. It's my technique every time. So I should have put chapstick on half an hour ago, but we're not there anymore. See, I can go higher. I always go too small, and then I'm like, that doesn't look right. My makeup, I feel like it's like a mixture of like fun makeup and Halloween makeup, because that's how I always feel when I'm doing it. Can you see how my lips, the color of my lips stops basically where I did it, but then the shape of it goes up. So I'm gonna have to like really overline it, and I don't. It's been a while. So I was definitely influenced by like my mom's, you know, favorite musicals and stuff. We probably have different favorite musicals at the moment, but we watched what we had, and then my love for like kind of like 80s music, I think, comes from my dad. He's into Devo, you know, Tears for Fears, Human League, Oingo Boingo kind of stuff. So my favorite musical is Sweet Charity. That's the one I want to do for my first makeup in musicals kind of video. But the idea was to do a lot of my favorite musicals, but also some that are just popular, some that I don't know. So I'll get to learn and kind of have a reaction to, and some that are a lot more unknown, at least to the people who don't know it. So I wanted to start with Sweet Charity. I'm also going to be doing prints of my own artwork along with the video. So every musical will have a print based off of the makeup look that I do. And all the makeup looks will be inspired by either the movie or the stage play or the poster or some graphic element of probably the show, maybe a costume or something. Some will be more obvious, I think. Like Sweet Charity is based in the 60s, and they have a scene with Sammy Davis Jr. It's like probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie. But one of the girls has like a huge flower, and that was, you know, big in the 60s. I really wanted to do looks based off of like how it makes me feel as well. So it'll be really interesting to see, you know, what all gets done, because I have like a folder full of empty folders with the names of musicals I want to do on them. I'm a manifesting girl. We're planting the seeds so that it happens. So I just opened up the folders. So my first one is Sweet Charity, obviously. Then I have them organized, but I don't know if this is how I'm going to do it. But the first few are Sweet Charity, Fiddler on the Roof, Wizard of Oz, Lion King, Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm hoping I'm hoping to like have that happen around Halloween, but we shall see. I might like skip to that one. And then Tommy, if you haven't heard that one, it's the musical by The Who. And then West Side Story. I'm gonna do like tributes to people, like Bob Fosse, who did the choreography for like a lot of things, but has also inspired quite a bit of what's going on now. And I want to do some reviews of like the musicals. I want to do some tributes to people like Bob Mackie, who did a lot of the costuming, Liza Minnelli. Oh, Andrew Lloyd Webber. I have to do that one. There's a lot in here. I mean, I have a lot of ideas. We'll just see if they actually get done. Like something about Jamie, Shrek the Musical, Hairspray. You know, I have a lot of really good ideas. I'm very excited. Another one I really want to do is how to succeed in business without really trying. It's a huge inspiration for a lot of things, and I do want to save some of that information for that video. But I think a lot of you will really like that one. So really growing up in this time of all the TV and all the movies and stuff, I just noticed I was like catching references that a lot of my friends were not catching. And later on, you know, the older I got, the more I realized like they didn't actually grow up with all the musicals that I did. When Family Guy did that whole Music Man kind of tribute, everybody was like, what is that? Like nobody knew what it was. And I was like, how do you guys not know? Like to me, it's like, you know, and if you're in musical theater, if you grew up with this stuff, it seems a lot more mainstream than it actually is anymore. So that's something I really wanted to do with this channel, is like kind of show people where the references come from, especially with the musicals. All of the musicals have been influenced by either one or many musicals. So I think it'd be really fun to kind of get deeper into that stuff. Okay, so I want to do a highlight because apparently we're living in 2016. But this is one my mom gave me. It's from Bare Minerals. It's like a glimmer skinny dip. I don't know. But it's fun. I'm putting little stickers on today too, so I want to add. I like to do highlight when it makes sense. I don't know if the fan brush is going to be enough. I like to pack it on. If I do highlighter, I'm doing highlighter. You're going to see it from outer space, y'all. The first time I really like thought of this idea was the Get Me Bodied. Was it Get Me Bodied or Get Bodied by Beyonce? And the whole music video is inspired by Sweet Charity. And nobody knew it. And I was kind of like, okay, something has to change here, because if Beyonce's doing it and you're still not looking it up, there's like a link missing. And so I think it's movies, like I think it's videos like this, where I'm specifically telling you the reference. And also like that music video was long enough ago that not everybody has seen that. We still, you know, kids are younger and younger online. I was online very young, so I can imagine now it's even younger. And I think it's important just to show, you know, where things come from. Give credit where it's due. What's really funny is like, I think musicals are still so polarizing. But there's a lot of musicals that people don't really realize that they're musicals. A musical is really just like, I think it's like a long form show that the majority of the plot is in song. Y'all can look that up. Maybe I'll put it up somewhere. I don't know. I really just want to share like a different perspective, and tell people like musicals are cool. Like, I think there's a lot of musicals that people wouldn't even know exist because they haven't looked into it. But I'm not really like, I didn't really grow up with musical theater as kind of the part that I was into. I was kind of more into the songs and the fashion, the costume and the makeup. Not really like the show of it all, show tunes. I'm not, that's not me. But I do, you know, I respect those people a lot, and I think that's what everybody else thinks that musicals are. It's just for those kind of people and blah blah blah, which let them have their thing, you know. But it's not all for them, and I think there's some really really cool musicals out there that I'm excited to share. I think a lot more younger people would really benefit from having, you know, older references. And not only does it help your art and your work and just your life, you can relate to older people a lot better, because it also shows where the world was at the time. It also shows kind of socially, you know, obviously it's all been produced in a certain way. But there are things that are very obvious, and kind of learning what tropes were then and now, and like the differences and similarities, very important and influential to, you know, where we are going. And you know, you see things you want to change, you see things that you don't want to change, and you get inspired all over again by these movies that are 60 years old at this point, and if not older, and some newer. I have a lot of other ideas for videos, so I'm probably going to be experimenting a lot too with the type of videos I do, because like I said, I want to do some of the Drag Race girl makeup tutorials. I really want to do something with maybe like soundtracks, and also artists that are slept on still. You know, I'd love to kind of boost these people up who don't have as big of a following as like I think they should. I don't know what I want to call that one, because I feel like if I call it anything that has to do with like sleep, like it's somewhat derogatory, because I don't know how the artist would actually take that if they're like, oh well, this is a slept on artist. I don't know how I would feel. But I'll figure out a title for, I'm creative like that. We'll see, you know, and I'd like to get my brother in on some stuff. We had an idea for something called The Shit Show, where we talk to musicians about like their shittiest show that they've ever had and their best show they've ever had, and then some other things. But, you know, I think that's what I really love about YouTube, is that there's all this room for growth, and there's, even if somebody else is doing it, even if 100 other people are doing it, your perspective is different than everybody else's. No one else has, you know, this beautiful lighting and such a professional setup as I do. But, you know, nobody else is me. So I think it'd be really fun to just go ham and see what sticks, kind of deal. So, too long, didn't watch. I really want to create a community here on YouTube for people who maybe don't feel seen, people who kind of live between all of the energies, people who are cool but also love not cool stuff, people who love music, fashion, beauty, but don't always see themselves represented. And I'm working on living authentically myself, so I think that's something that I really want to share with YouTube and kind of inspire people to do. I believe I'm on the earth to spread like love and creativity and beauty, you know, in every way that I can. And not all of it has to do with like tangible, you know, beauty. Some of it's inner. And I think that would be really fun to kind of talk with you guys about all of that. But then also some really fun stuff that just takes you away from all of that. I'm not doing foundation. You guys don't care, do you? So this is all I kind of do, is I put powder under the eyes because it kind of cancels out what's going on. Like, I could have done the whole foundation thing, but I'm not really going anywhere, and I don't think you guys are here necessarily for my amazing makeup looks. That takes away the illusion because it gives me a Cupid's bow again. What a dummy. Anyway, but this is my classic kind of winged shadow. I don't know why, but that Mint For You does not show up on the camera, so it's giving like skin color. It's kind of weird. I think it has to do with the like the way everything's shifting. Final stickies. So I hope you guys join me for some of my experimental kind of videos. I want to continue doing these event videos where I go, I do my makeup and go to events and then come back after, you know, talk about the event, talk about how the makeup lasted and all that. Because my makeup is definitely like realistic makeup. Like this is what I would actually do if I'm going to the club. I'd probably even omit the lip because I usually eat before, so I'm not like passing out at the club. These are the salicylic acid pimple stickers, but they're from like TJ Maxx, so I don't know if they actually have anything in them. I always do Bing Bing, but I feel like it's gonna look funny there, and I'm literally probably gonna take this off. I mean, I'll take pictures, but let me see. I don't want it to be, there we go. I don't want it to be completely symmetrical. I tried to curl my hair and everything, and this is not working for me today. It's been like humid in Denver, so like my hair just kind of, my hair just does whatever it wants all the time, but especially right now. So I always do like a rose spray or something after powder to bring back the moisture in my head, but it just feels better. And I'm not gonna set this because I'm not going anywhere. Here's the final look. I think it's fun for, you know, what I was going for. I'm just going for something kind of cyber inspired. I was inspired by the little patches, the butterfly patches. And I just wanted to do something that was fun and mermaidy, like I said. So thanks for joining me. I hope you guys are excited about my YouTube channel, like I am. But if you'd like to support me, I have links down below. This is not monetized, and I'm not sure if I will or not. I kind of cuss a lot. So we shall see. We shall see what happens with all that. Be excellent to each other, and I love you. Bye.